Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Alright, so today I'm taking a look at the CRKT Septimo Multi-Tool. Let's check it out. Alright, so the new CRKT Septimo comes in a very familiar green box. I'm sure if you guys have bought anything CRKT, you are very familiar with this box, so I'm not going to spend any more time on it. Let's take out the brand new Septimo Multi-Tool and let's check it out. Alright, so let's give you guys a nice close-up of the CRKT Septimo Multi-Tool. So while you guys are checking this out, let's talk about some of the features. Alright, so the body's made of 6061 aluminum and we have some glass reinforced nylon inlays. The combination Tanto blade is 2.86 inches long and is made of 8CR13 MOV steel. And the Tanto blade has a black oxide finish to help with corrosion resistance. And because it's the Septimo Multi-Tool, it sports 5 different tools. We have the Tanto blade, we have a bit driver, a bottle opener, an adjustable wrench, and a glass breaker. Alright, so that's enough of the quick features. Let's talk dimensions. Alright, so the Septimo Multi-Tool has an overall length of 7.63 inches and a closed length of 4.84 inches. And they say it weighs 4.40 ounces on the website, so let's weigh it. Alright, so let's plop this on my handy dandy scale here. Okay, so it's 4.5 ounces, that's close enough. And in grams, that's 128 grams. Alright, so this new Septimo Multi-Tool is part of CRKT's Born of Flames line. It's designed by a former Green Beret, Jeremy Valdez, and basically came up with the design after he was trapped in a helicopter and was trying to save his fellow soldiers from the burning wreckage. So that's basically where the Septimo Multi-Tool came from. So it's a very military-inspired, tactical to everyday carry multi-tool. So when I first saw this, of course I had to have it because I'm always on the lookout for that perfect multi-tool. Because I'm always looking to free up some pocket real estate by finding that multi-tool that combines everything that I would need for work. So that's why I thought this would be perfect. And yes, I do understand what it was made for and where the idea of this multi-tool came from. But I still wanted to see if the Septimo Multi-Tool would work for my personal purposes. So my first impressions when I first held this is it's actually a very nice, well put together multi-tool. When I first held it, my first reaction was it feels very nice in the hand and feels very high quality. So how do the tools perform? Well, let's take a look at that Tanto blade first. So let's deploy it, and yep, that happens to me sometimes. Well, there's our first look at that Tanto blade. It's a 2.86 inch Tanto blade. It has a trademarked Veff Serration right there. Now that is extremely sharp. It just makes it easier to cut rope or seat belts. And I've always been a fan of Tanto blades. To me, it's the best utility blade out there. And it has that black oxide finish, so it's gonna be really good to prevent corrosion, especially where I live in Buffalo, New York, where I'm always working outside in the snow and rain. So that was another reason why I thought this would be a perfect multi-tool for me. Now it does have a liner lock right here, which I'm not always the biggest fan of the liner lock, but it works fine. And I know I can't really demonstrate this on camera, but this thing just closes smooth as butter. I mean, this pivot here is just so smooth closing. And I don't know if you guys can really tell, but this thing just rockets out when I open it with a thumb stud. It's non-assisted, but it actually feels like it's assisted. All I have to do is just give it a little bit of pressure on the thumb stud there, and it just shoots right out. So that's one thing I really love about this Septimo Multi-Tool. All right, so how does it cut with that trademarked Veff Serration there? So let's use it on this rope right here, and oh wow. So I got caught right there on the very point of that serration, and it's not really cutting too easy. So let me just use the actual Tanto portion, and yeah, cuts right through it. So you can see how that Veff Serration is shaped. It comes to a point, almost like a tooth, pointing towards the back end of the multi-tool. And I thought it would just eat right through this rope, but it's, wow. Yeah, maybe it's just too thick to cut through this. But I know it's designed to cut through seat belts, but I was hoping that it would cut this rope a little bit easier, but the Tanto blade has no issue at all. Also right here we have some jimping, so when the blade is deployed, we have a nice spot to rest your thumb to get plenty of leverage. And to hold it with the blade deployed is actually very, very comfortable. But one thing I had an issue with, and you saw that when I first tried to deploy the blade, was sometimes this thumb stud is a little slippery and my thumb slips off of it when I'm trying to deploy the blade. And taking a closer look at it, as you can see, that thumb stud, it's directly resting on the body there. And if I turn it to the side here, you can see you don't have a lot of surface area for your thumb to make contact with that thumb stud. And it's very rounded on the top, so it makes it very slippery. So I would say 2 out of 3 times my thumb slips off of it when I'm trying to open this blade. Well, that was perfect. And I understand why they had to do this, because there's not a lot of surface area right there on this very thin Tonto blade to put that thumb stud. Now, if I compare this to one of my favorite EDC blades of all time, the Benchmade Griptilian, and you can see it's raised up from the scales there, so my thumb never slips off of it. So as much as I love how the blade deploys on the Septimo Multi-Tool, I just wish that thumb stud was raised up a little bit more, or they just gave us a little more cutout right there on the body. Now, right behind that jimping, we have our standard bottle opener. I don't think I really have to go over that bottle opener too much, except for, yeah, it works pretty decently. Now, the second biggest draw of the Septimo Multi-Tool for me personally was the bit driver here. So we have the magnetic bit receiver right here, right where the jimping is located. And it has this little trap door right here where it stores the 1/4-inch bit. So all you want to do is just push it from the bottom there and reveals your bit right there. So this is a very small flathead and small Phillips bit. So just close that little trap door and it just fits in there perfectly. It's a little bit of wiggle room, but that's fine. And of course it's magnetic, so turning it upside down, the bit won't fall out. Like I said, this was a huge draw for me because I'm always looking for 1/4-inch bit drivers on multi-tools, especially something this convenient. We got your Phillips right here and just flip it around and you have yourself the flathead. But if you have any 1/4-inch bits, they will fit in here perfectly. And actually using this as a screwdriver gave me no problems at all. You might think it'd be awkward being so wide and flat, but it actually works pretty nice. The only issue I had with it was when I was pressing down too hard, sometimes this glass breaker stabbed me in the hand right here while I was trying to get some leverage. And next, the main draw of the Septimo Multi-Tool was this adjustable wrench. Now, I always carry an adjustable wrench with me, so when I saw this had an adjustable wrench on it with everything else, that's why I had to have this multi-tool. So you can see right here, it's just super easy to open that up all the way. Right there's the max. So right here I have a 3/8/16 bolt and nut. So this is one of the most common nuts and bolts that I use on an everyday basis. So when I tried to use this on a 3/8/16 bolt, you can see it's just slightly too small. And of course, it's not gonna work with the 3/8 nut either. I mean, it's just right there. You can see almost wants to fit, but just not quite cutting it, which is a huge disappointment because this would have saved me an extra tool that I carry on my belt, all wrapped in one nice package. So since it doesn't fit this 3/8 bolt, this wrench is useless to me. But if you need it for bolts under 3/8, it should fit perfectly. I mean, if I just had a little bit more room, it would fit. And I'm no multi-tool engineer, but right at the end here, we have about 1/16 of an inch left of room before I hit the very edge of that body. And no, I can't open it up anymore. So I'm just wondering why they couldn't have that go over just that little bit more, and it would save me so much trouble. But unfortunately, it just doesn't open anymore. And that leads me to the very last feature of the Septimo Multi-Tool, and that's the glass breaker right here. And seeing the pictures online, I knew instantly, yeah, this is gonna be a problem when I'm trying to use that adjustable wrench. It's just a very curious place to stick that glass breaker. It's just gonna get in the way every time I'm trying to tighten up a nut or bolt. Yet again, I know why they did this. This tool isn't made for me and my work specifically, so I get it. And looking around this multi-tool, I don't see any other spot that would make sense to stick that glass breaker. But if this adjustable wrench fit a 3/8 bolt, I would probably take a grinder and just grind that glass breaker right off. But since this wrench won't work for what I need it for, not really sure if I'm gonna keep this or not, which is a huge bummer because I actually really like this multi-tool. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, it has this nice black pocket clip right here, but when it's in your pocket, we have this adjustable wrench sticking up above your pocket with this very sharp glass breaker sticking straight up. So there was a few times where I had this in my pocket and I was reaching in and jabbed myself with that glass breaker. All right, let's talk about what I like about the Septimo Multi-Tool. I love the fact that it has a very utility-friendly Tanto blade. I think the build quality is great. I love how this Tanto blade just shoots out when you deploy it. I think the bit driver is great, and I love this little hideaway storage area for your bit. I think the adjustable wrench is a great idea, and I'd like to see that on more multi-tools coming up in the future. Now let's talk about what I don't like about the Septimo Multi-Tool. I don't like how the thumb stud is located just too close to the body, and the thumb stud is rounded, so most of the time I find myself just flicking my thumb off of it when I'm trying to deploy the blade. I also don't like the fact that the wrench doesn't fit 3/8/16 bolts or nuts. And I don't like the positioning of this glass breaker right at the end of that adjustable wrench. So overall, I really like the Septimo Multi-Tool, but for me, personally for work, it just won't fit the bill. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you guys think of the CRKT Septimo Multi-Tool? I think if you're buying this for what it was designed for, to be a tactical rescue style multi-tool, you know, with the glass breaker, the adjustable wrench, the seatbelt cutter, I think you'll be extremely happy with it. But if you're buying it for general work, just to save some pocket real estate, I don't think this is the tool for you. And on top of that, you have to get rid of this glass breaker if you're buying it for the adjustable wrench, no matter what. Now, if you guys are interested in the Septimo Multi-Tool, I will have links below in my description box. Now, I bought this straight from CRKT, and looking online, right now, it's out of stock. So I would say keep checking their website. I don't know when they'll be back in stock. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe. And go!